all, Mr. Kozlov here for another installment of videos. This one will be on proportions. So again, let me remind you, you can start and stop this at any time, back it up, play it again, do what you need. Here we go with example number 1. If Tommy runs 3 miles in 24 minutes, then how long will it take him to run 5 miles? There are 5 steps that I have listed as we have been online many times. Step 1, write your word statement. There is your word statement. You can always find these word statements in the question and in the statement. Miles, minutes. And there you have miles and minutes. Step 2, write what you know. We know he runs 3 miles in 24 minutes. Step number 2, write what you know. Step number 3, write what you need to know. That's the other proportion. If you remember, there is a typo on this particular page. What we want to know is how long it takes to run 5 miles. So we have miles on top, miles and miles. We have minutes, minutes, and I need to know how many minutes. So now step 4, cross multiply. 3 times x, 5 times 24. 5 times 24 is 120. You take this statement, divide, which is step 5, divide by the number in front of x, and the number in front of x is a 3. This cancels each other out, and 3 into 120 goes 40 times. There you have it. Example number 2, and please guys, I'll mention these 5 steps many times. It would really be smart of you to write in your notebook those 5 steps. I write it in our chat forum every day, 4 times in every class. Be smart for you to write them down so you can have a reference for all 5 of those steps. Unfortunately, it's not on our notes. Sorry about that. Example problem number 2. These are fractions. If half a gallon of paint covers 1/6 of a wall, then how much paint is needed for the entire wall? Everything you need is here. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. What I want to focus on is fractions, because in class we talked a little bit about fractions and how do I divide a fraction. And I want to spend just a little bit of time going over that with you. 3 letters, K, C, F. K that stands for keep, C that stands for change, sorry I thought I spelled that wrong, and flip. And let's talk about what that means for fractions. And we're going to use these 2 numbers just to be sure, because we have 1/2 divided by 1/6. So I'm going to write that here, 1/2 divided by 1/6. Keep, change, flip, as I have told you in class yesterday, I like to use Kentucky Fried Chicken because I like chicken, and because I think if you think about flipping chickens, that will kind of give you that thought to think about KCF. I know it's not KFC, but it's pretty close to KFC, so think about KCF, flipping chickens, okay? That's all I can tell you. It works for, the last 7 years. Hopefully it works for you all too. Keep, change, flip means keep the first fraction. So when I go down here, I'm going to keep this fraction. Change stands for changing the sign. Changing the sign will be the opposite of division, which is multiplication. Flipping talks about the second fraction. Instead of 6/1 or 1/6, I'm going to write 6/1, which some of you know is called the reciprocal. So keep, change, flip. Keep the first fraction, change the sign, flip the second fraction. And then follow the normal rules for multiplication, which is to multiply straight across. That's 6/2, which does equal 3, which is the answer. So I wanted to make sure we did that before we go any further. Please, once again, stop, start, flip backwards, do what you gotta do to make this work, okay? All right, the next two of these. 3 bags of dog food cost $25. Jerry has $50. How many bags of dog food can he buy? Now guys, I'm not gonna give you the answers, but I'm gonna set it all up for you. You can do the answer on your own, okay? First thing, word statement. Bags and dollars. Some of you might like to do dollars per bag. I'm going to do it both ways again to show you that as long as you follow the procedures, doesn't matter which way you do it. If I do bags for dollars, I know he bought 3 bags for $25, and I also know that we want to know how many bags can he buy, okay? So I want to know how many bags he can buy, and he has $50. Down here, I would also have $25, 3 bags, $50. I don't know how many bags. What I hope you can see is that when you cross multiply, when you do step number 4, let me back up. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 is to cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, hopefully you can see, as long as you keep your dollars, 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 dollars together, and your bags, 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 and your bags, 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 you're not going to fail. It's going to work every time. 25 times x, 25 times x, 3 times 5, 3 times 5. Step number 5 then is to write the statement and divide. 25x equals 150, and there's my division of the number in front of the x. So 25. 150 divided by 25 gives you the answer. Next, if Peter drove 9 hours at an average speed of 63 miles per hour, how far did he drive? Well, there's my word statement. Miles per hour. I drove 63 miles in 1 hour. I want to know how many miles in 9 hours. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Word statement, write what you know, write what you need to know. Cross multiply, 1x, which is the same as x, equals 63 times 9. And there's your answer to number 4 when you multiply. All right, next 2. In class, the ratio of girls to boys is 4 to 5. There are 15 boys in the class. How many girls are there in the class? Word statement, girls to boys. Write what you know, 4 to 5. Write what you want to know. I want to know how many girls with 15 boys. Cross multiply. 5x equals 4 times 15. Divide both sides by 5, and you can find your answer to what x equals. Start and stop that as many times as you need. Number 6, Jeff is in the triathlon. He swims 3 miles, yada, 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 yada. How do we figure this out? Well, 3 miles, 5 miles, where's the other one? 12 miles. First, you write your word statement. Miles per minute. There is your word statement. Now, write what you know. If I run 3, I bike 12, and I swim 3, then that is 20 miles. If I take all the minutes, I write the total minutes. And then for my question, what is his rate of speed for the entire distance? Okay, in other words, in 1 minute, how many miles? Because I want the rate of speed. That's per minute. Cross multiply and divide. 80x equals 20. Divide both sides by 80. Simplify this, and there's your answer. All right, moving on to the next 2 examples. These are charts and graphs. Oops. So this is done the same way, only a little bit differently. let's start with the actual chart. If I was to make a straight line here, sorry about that, every one of those dots would be on that line, which means I can use any of those dots to find my hours worked and my vacation days earned. So I can use 51, I can use 102, I can use 153, or I can use 204. I told y'all in class I like to use the smaller numbers because they're easier. So if I do want to know how many hours for vacation days, hours, days. There's my word statement, step 1. Step 2, write what you know. Well, I know there's 50 hours, gives me 1 vacation day. I want to know how many hours for 7 days. Cross multiply is step 4. That would leave me x equals 50 times 7. I believe y'all can multiply, so you can figure that answer out. Last but not least, the table shows the total distance that David ran. So if I was to add these up, I would get a number. That tells me the total amount of miles, just like the guy who was a triathlete. It also says approximately. So after I add all those up, I'm going to use my approximate number. So the first thing I'm going to do is miles per hour. Just like always, step 1. Then I'm going to write what I know. I know that his speed is 8 miles per hour. People remember the word per means 1. So there's my unit rate. I want to know how many hours to go 24 miles. Cross multiply is step 4. 8x equals 24. And I'm going to divide both of those by 8. That will tell me how many hours this dude actually ran, which is about 2 hours and 57 minutes more than I run, if that gives you a hint. Okay? So that should take care of all of the problems. That should take care of everything you need. Have a great day.